Walk into any Home Depot or Lowe's garden center this weekend, and you'll find a plant sitting in a bright plastic pot, clearly labeled with its name and watering instructions that can kill a dog with a single seed. No warning, no skull and crossbones, just a price tag and a care guide. That's not an exaggeration, and this video isn't meant to scare you. But there's a real gap in how dangerous plants get sold in the US, and most people who buy them have absolutely no way of knowing what they're bringing home. So, today, we're going to look at exactly how this happens. Two specific plants, real numbers from poison control, and the actual regulatory reason this situation exists. The conventional wisdom here is that if something dangerous were being sold at a major retailer, there'd be a warning, a label, a sticker, something. That's a completely reasonable assumption. The problem is, it's wrong, and the reason it's wrong is more interesting than you'd expect. Let's start with the plant that surprises people the most, because it looks prehistoric, because it basically is. The sago palm shows up everywhere: home improvement stores, garden centers, even grocery store floral sections sometimes carry them. They look like a small, stocky palm tree with stiff, dark green fronds, and they have this ancient architectural quality that makes them popular for landscaping and indoor decoration. The thing is, the sago palm isn't actually a palm at all. It's a cycad, a completely different type of plant that's been on Earth since before most modern plant families even existed. And every single part of one is toxic. The sago palm contains a compound called cycasin. In plain language, cycasin is a toxin that attacks the liver, and it does it fast. Over the last 10 years, more than 1,400 documented cases of dogs being poisoned by sago palm. 34 confirmed deaths. For humans, poison control data shows at least 130 documented poisoning cases in the US since 2009, and in Florida, where sago palms are especially common in landscaping, more than a quarter of those cases involved children under 5 years old. So this isn't a rare exotic hazard. This is a plant that sits in front of suburban homes, lines hotel driveways, and gets sold in garden centers across the country. That's important, but if you only walk away knowing about the sago palm, you're going to miss the one that's probably more common in your neighborhood right now. Oleander is one of the most widely planted ornamental shrubs in the American South and West. If you've ever driven through a California freeway median, you've seen it. It's in front yards in Texas, in Florida, backyards, in pots on patios in Arizona. It's drought-resistant, it grows fast, and nurseries love selling it because customers love buying it. The toxicity of oleander has been documented for literally thousands of years. Ancient Indian texts referred to it as the plant that kills the horse. Oleander contains compounds called cardiac glycosides. What that means practically is that these compounds interfere with the electrical signals that keep your heart beating in a normal rhythm. The same class of compounds, in controlled doses, is actually used in legitimate heart medications. The difference is the dose. In medicine, it's precise. In oleander, it's not. Fatalities have been documented from ingesting as few as 4 seeds, and the exposure routes are broader than most people realize. People have been poisoned by inhaling smoke from burning oleander branches. There are documented cases from using fresh-cut oleander stems as skewers to cook meat over a fire. There have even been cases linked to honey made by bees that fed on oleander flowers. Dogs and cats are extremely vulnerable. Horses and livestock have died from it. And yet it lines the medians of American highways and sits in pots at garden centers with no more warning than a plastic tag that says, "Full sun, moderate water." So the obvious question is, how does this keep happening? Why isn't there a label? Let's do a quick reality check. If you bought a household product that could kill your dog with a single bite, would you assume the government requires a warning label on it? Most people would say yes. You'd be wrong. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission has no regulation requiring warning labels on plants. None. There is no legal mechanism in the United States that forces a garden center to warn you about a plant's toxicity, no matter how dangerous it is. The ASPCA maintains extensive lists. Poison control centers track the cases. But at the point of sale, there is no system requiring anyone to tell you what you're buying could kill your dog. And nurseries, for the most part, aren't being malicious here. The staff at your local garden center are there to help you pick the right soil and figure out watering schedules. Most of them don't have toxicology training. The plants arrive from growers with care labels, not safety labels. It's a systemic gap, not a cover-up. And it's not just Sago Palm and Oleander. Common lilies sold everywhere, amaryllis, Easter lilies, daylilies, contain toxic alkaloids that can cause serious poisoning, especially in cats. They sit on grocery store shelves around Easter every year. Same situation, same labeling gap. By the way, I keep a guide like this for every video inside a small community I run, where you can also ask me questions directly. Links in the description. But you don't need to wait to start checking your own yard. So what do you actually do with this? The ASPCA has a free searchable toxic plant database at aspca.org. If you have pets, it's worth spending 15 minutes going through what you already have in your yard. Sago palms have that stiff, spiky frond structure and a thick central trunk. Oleander has long, narrow leaves and clusters of tubular flowers, usually pink, white, or red. You don't need to rip out your entire garden. Most plants are completely fine. But knowing what you have is a reasonable, easy thing to do, and right now most people just don't have that information because nobody hands it to them at the register. Some garden plants can hurt you. Others can pay you. Watch that one next.